Hi everyone, thanks for joining our conference where we want to show how AI is already helping people in day-to-day work. It's not something far from us. And let me introduce our speaker, Yaroslav Ubozhenko. Yaroslav will show us his really advanced AI solution. It's not something simple, but it's really should encourage you to try build some similar solution or other solution with such complexity. It will be multi-agent platform with memory, knowledge management, and so on. I guess Yaroslav will tell us about that in details. Regarding the question you asked, the governance of this meeting, how it will be, we have a short session, 30 minutes, and I propose to leave at least 5 minutes at the end for question answers. Guys, if you have any questions, please put the questions in chat and we will answer them at the end. Probably that's it. Welcome, Yaroslav.
Cool, thanks, Dennis. Yeah, hi everyone. So today I will kind of drive you through I don't know, Dennis said it's AI makes your life easier, but I will not agree with that because sometimes it makes your life harder, but not in kind of in the way that it does something wrong or you need to fix something after AI, but you know, you have like a very kind of advanced tool set right now in hands, so you can do so many things that you know I cannot sleep at nights. I have so many ideas to implement, so yeah, that's my problem with AI, I would say. So I'm AI addicted. So yeah, and today I will try to kind of describe or explain like the Legion. Legion is, as Dennis said, multi-agent platform, but it was actually not supposed to be like that. It was more intended to be a storage, centralized storage for the any AI tool you're using, kind of to collect all the knowledge and to make AI, let's say, smarter, right? So architecture of intent. We'll get back to it a little bit later and to all this AI native development. But this is something that we need to be heading towards because right now we are kind of the whole world is deeply into this AI native approach. But from my experience, I know many people that stuck really on this phase one where we had the AI as an assistant and the say chat friend for conversations, right? But yeah, I will touch a little bit later on that, but the whole idea of this presentation will be based on that. So few words about myself. My name is Yaroslav. I'm quality architect L2 in EPAM. I have more than 15 years of experience with different tools, technologies, platforms, etc. So I've been kind of involved deeply from the testing side, also from the engineering side, kind of because of my, let's say, willing and eagerness to learn everything like of the whole development cycle. And I was trying to always keep an eye on everything that happens besides and beyond what I'm doing. And yeah, my current focus, like this is a pet project, and my current focus is designing deterministic multi-agent architecture, and basically something that can scale and something that can help and something that would be really easy to use. Is someone still joining? Okay, so why the Legion? It was actually the Legion itself, the word, right, the known, was kind of a pusher for all of this initiative. Because at first I was kind of trying to build some knowledge system that I will describe a little bit later. But in the end, it ended in this multi-agent platform, and I was just working usually as usual with the Cloud Code. I was building this knowledge system, and I was just recalling a movie that I saw kind of few days ago, and that was called Split. I don't know, maybe someone watched it. It was kind of an movie based on the book about the Billy Milligan, and this book kind of describes the person that had 24 personalities kind of in him, and basically that was a disintegration of the person, heavy disintegration, I would say, if you have 24 personalities inside, but each of the personality has its own speciality, uh, manners, way of talking, everything, like the memory, everything was separated in one single human. And I was thinking like that the AI, actually LLM, and how we are using LLM is basically working the same way, right? So you have the LLM, which is, let's say, Billy, and you have a lot of personalities when you are kind of building this system prompts and working with the same LLM but from different perspectives. And that pushed me to create some of this agentic platform because I was really inspired and really kind of impressed of the whole this story. And I thought like it is a very good kind of way of implementing something that will not be just yet another platform, but more like uh, more like companion, more like friend. I don't know, and something that will have a soul. Uh, like it was done a very long time before the OpenClaw appeared, and they were kind of chasing the same thing that I was chasing several months before. This is Soul, and this is how the your assistant work with you, cooperates with you, talks with you, know what you like, what you don't like, and so on. I know that I put into the LLM too much of humanity, but for me, kind of especially, I do really like to talk to someone because I spend a lot of time with my laptop, doing different things, and it is much more, let's say, enjoyable for me when I can talk to person, not just a robot. And even the system was not mature at all on the starters, but it was really fun to talk to someone who is kind of talking with uh, how to call it, a book English, because Arthur is originally from the book, from the Billy Milligan. He is an intellectual British guy who is very concise, who is very kind of strict, and it is very funny when it shows you in the chat that he just touched his glasses, he sit on the chair, and he he was waiting for you to answer on something. But yeah, this is off top, and this is just a fun part of it. But anyways, all the system from Arthur, it expanded to a lot of other agents, and I'm not calling really them agents. I'm calling them minds because agent is something again soulless, and I don't like it too much. Yeah, and Arthur, kind of as in the book, he was keeper of the spot. He was kind of deciding who is doing what and where, when they will have the time to talk to people, and the same way it does here. So this is a central contact point for me. I'm not really talking too much to other minds. Arthur does all the stuff. So Arthur receives the task and distributes all this task to all other minds that we have. Moving forward, so why I started this project at all? Uh, I believe like everyone that is here and was using AI in, let's say, early 2024, there was a problem. Like, you have AI, it is great, but to give it the context, it took a while. And after some few context resets, everything that you explained, everything that you have sent to the LLM was just it disappeared. And I was really annoyed with repeating all time the same, like about the project architecture, about the files, about the code, and so on, because LLM was doing a good job, but it could not expand on the, let's say, bigger repositories than a few files. It was really annoying, and I will start thinking like, what can I do? And maybe that was a problem, not about the tool itself that I was using, but maybe I was not so aware how to properly use it. But anyways, it pushed me to start thinking about the some knowledge, some storage that will be easy to navigate for LLMs and will be efficient. Will be efficient. I mean, like it will give just enough context to finish the task, not like too small amount of context or too much of the context. Because as you know, like that's a problem from both sides. If you give too much context, it is prone, then LLM prone to hallucinations. If you give not enough context, the same problem, hallucinations, and basically you will never know how the task will be done. And also, I was really inspired by the EPAM QuadMe, because at that time I was I had a task to demo QuadMe to the client, and I was really pessimistic about this all AI tools, how it can help. That was kind of too early for me to understand all the greatness of this stuff. But the first time in my life I saw like the code base indexed, and I saw like LLM was kind of it was easier for LLM to navigate through the index than through the files, and I was really impressed, because I had several of pet projects, and I was always struggling with this LLM understanding, LLM memory, and so on. And it was a point for me to search, to learn, and to build something myself. That was only first challenge. Second challenge is that whole region from the beginning was built as an MCP server for the Cloud Code. Why Cloud Code? Because I was using that heavily, and I was not thinking about some other tools. But yeah, MCP is kind of, let's say, tool agnostic, right? But still, the idea was to build it for the Cloud Code. And but the problem was that MCP is something that works on top of your system prompt and on top of the basic instructions and so on. And all my idea of the identity of the agent, of the personality, was kind of very vague, because sometimes Claude was kind of accepting this personality, sometimes not. And that was problem for me, at least, because, it is really kind of it is really clear that you're speaking to Claude or you're speaking to Arthur, right? Because different manner and so on. And I was kind of repeating from time to time, like become Arthur, and that was annoying and frustrating. That's why kind of this is just a high level overview. I built a CLI based on open code. As far it gives a lot of possibility to a lot of customizations, and it is fully open sourced. All the prompts, I was not able in the Cloud Code to manage like a basic prompt. And the basic prompt of the Cloud Code, believe me, is kind of really heavy. It's a big heavy, and probably you will build your system prompt also, and it all becomes in a big pile of instructions. So I really wanted to be able to control that. Resumption. This is from different sides, right? Resumption it was always available in the Claude code. You could resume the session by the session ID, and also a resumption in terms of one chat session, which is this automatic compaction or the compaction that you are doing, but still it is done with the predefined prompt. Now I believe like they implemented something that you can modify it a little bit. But anyways, it was really a problem to me that after a while, when the context window was polluted enough, it did this compaction, and this compaction was too general and too generic, so the Claude could not proceed properly and in a proper focus with the task he was given. And I was trying to give him a task so it could take a whole day. And when I saw these problems, I understood like this is a bottleneck, and that should be resolved somehow. Yeah, challenge 3. So basically, I looked through the different tools that can do a precise and detailed code indexing. Because I know like all the tools give you some index built in. But anyways, as you can see, like if the index runs real quick, it is at least not very precise. And for me, it was a problem actually. And when I looked through the different kind of third-party libraries that can be used, I found Cogni. Cogni, I will share the link then to Cogni. Cogni is kind of open source library. It is a knowledge building platform, I would say. It is using LLM to parse the files. It is not intended, in origin, it is not intended to work with the code, but it works very well with the different unstructured data. And it is intended to extract entities, to extract facts, what call it, sorry, forgot the word, concepts from the data and build from that knowledge graph. It works really well. And even if it is not intended to work with code, it works with code, and it is quite precise. But it is a bottleneck because it is single-threaded, and it does a lot of stuff. It has its internal pipeline, which is kind of quite heavy, and you cannot really scale a lot because they propose their own platform where probably this all solved, but it costs quite a lot. So that's why I was building based on the Cogni. I split this library into parts, and I've built my own processing pipeline for the code, event-driven pipeline, and we will get back to it just in a while. And the main problem that I faced, it was really this mind shift of me, because I was kind of used to the statement, or how to properly say it, that I'm expert, I know better what to do, how to do. And from the very beginning, like I was trying to build all the architectures, all the kind of way how the code should be built and everything. And basically, in whole this pipeline of AI doing something, I became a bottleneck, really. It is quite funny, but again, in very general, this is my not really my personal opinion, but it also grounded on some researches I did, and we are not using AI as we should, because we are putting AI into the rules, and AI is not kind of intended to follow the rules. It follows them, but it is AI is really against about it. If you will ask what AI native means and how AI would like to work, you will find very interesting information. And basically, I was changing not only the way AI works, I started to change the way I work with AI. And I started to extract myself as a more stakeholder and AI as the owner of the code, owner of the way it builds the code. Because in the very end, as a deck is called, this is architecture of intent. So basically, what you need to do as a human, you need to build an intent. You need to understand what you want to see in the end what is your end goal. And how it is built inside doesn't really matter nowadays, because if it is built in not really proper way, and as we like to say, not based on the solid principles, do not care, because you can rewrite with AI it's in minutes, and you don't need to care really about great maintenance and so on, because in the era of AI this is something that not really makes sense. Legion is shown here. User talks to Arthur only. You can talk to other agents, but I don't know if you need to. But you can always ask Arthur to become someone else, and he will just get the system prompt of some other agent and become this agent. And you will see right away that the way of talking, kind of the wording and everything will change, and you will talk to a different person. And everything of that is based on the persistent foundational memory that is shared across all the agents within the one company, because this is actually a multi-tenant system. Architecture, first of all, I built this intelligence backend, and this all based on the fast API. gRPC is to talk to CLI, and the MCP itself was talking to through the gRPC with the backend. It is much faster. For me, it is much more reliable because you have this all protofiles, you define everything in the beginning, and then you have client generated and so on. For me, it worked better than the rest. That was the basic and architecture, the heart of the Legion, this backend. Then I built web UI because it was hard for me to track how Arthur creates the agents, how Arthur creates workflows. I wanted to see it, to manage it, and so on. That's why I created additionally web UI for all of that, to admin that, because everything that can be done through this web UI, Arthur can do the same way, or any agent can do the same way. They have all tooling to improve themselves, to store different lessons learned, and so on. And and actually I can do myself as well. I can change something, modify, clarify, and so on through the UI. And and this CLI fork of the open code, very powerful tool. I like it much more than the Claude Code, speaking frankly, because I can switch through the different LLMs, and I have many subscriptions. And if I'm talking to Arthur, I switch LLM, I'm talking to the same Arthur and doing the same stuff. So no context is lost at any time. And this is the biggest benefit I received from the CLI. And that's great tool. More details about the UI. So you can track here, you can add, modify, delete like agents, workflows, different documents that are run through the working with the AI, because they have the instructions to create all these epics, features, stories, but they are not really called in the Legion epic feature story. It is called engagement, thread, and episode. It is just a wording, just my subjective kind of what I like subjectively, right? AI native kind of way of working. Delegation monitoring. So the kind of Legion is working on your machine. If you're working through the CLI, you can delegate and start separate processes, which will be kind of the same CLI, but in headless mode. And it will kind of working in the background, and UI gives you possibility to see it. So I will speed up. I see that we do not have time. My God. Yes, CLI native, it is not working through the MCP anymore. I integrated directly Legion gRPC services into the CLI. So basically no this going back and forth through the MCP, just direct communication with the gRPC, with the Legion, with the gRPC services. Everything is built on microservices. Mostly all the services are talking through the message bus, through the Kafka in my case. I know that this is not the most efficient way, and Kafka is heavy, but anyways, like it was something I was working not long time ago, so I built it based on Kafka, and that works well for me at least. And yeah, we have everything like as a normal application has, authentication, then everything is split on the separate entities like knowledge, code, task, delegation, everything is callable through the gRPC for the agents and through the RESTful API for the web UI. Storage. This is kind of very interesting part. Storage is three of the three different databases. We have Postgres for the facts and something that is static and written in the stone. We have Neo4j that keeps all the relations between entities, and Quadrant vector database that you can easily search for the similarity, for semantic similarity. And it all goes through the one interface that is called what I know method, and it uses RRF reranker, and it fuses all the results from different sources and gives you like the most exact and most precise response with the as small amount of tokens as possible to finish the task. Event-driven pipeline for the code. That when I said that Cogni had a bottleneck, I decided to split into different consumers based on the Kafka, and I separated all work with AI, with the LLM, because LLM is heavily used for the chunks summarization, entities extraction. Separate one is embeddings, because embeddings uses also LLM to do all the stuff. And I was hitting very hardly rate limits. I'm using Google and Gemini, and I was really hitting limits. So I splitted it, and I was able to control separately each part, like the throughput, how many threads, how fast it should go, and just not to face these limitations. 5-tier knowledge system. We have session, working memory. This is all about agents. Working memory is the session and context window. Permanent memory is something that is loads on the startup for the agent. It is intended to be like bullet points that agent can read on the start, and it can be anything that you, for example, during the session with the agent, you can tell store permanently that I don't like that you put too much text or summaries or anything. Agent will store it, and that would be the memory only for you and for this agent, and he will not repeat that again. Then we have knowledge. This is project-related patterns, approaches, expertise store. This is kind of like a Claude Code skills, right? So you build different expertises. They are stored in the database, and not Claude, but Arthur has the overview of what skills he has, and he can load some skills on demand, or he can just search in the skills. That would be much more efficient. And the lessons learned. When we face the issue, this issue is resolved, and then the lesson learned is stored. And before fixing some issues, the next time agent checks the lessons learned. If we already, maybe we fixed that already, and there is no point in doing the same. Multi-repo knowledge graph, like whole Legion, is based on the idea that we put all the repositories. For now, I just tried three repositories in the same knowledge graph, and it works beautiful because if I change something in the backend, let's say, I can trace it and see what it will break, even in front end or some infrastructure part. And it is just milliseconds to understand that, because agent just call the search, and he knows what is affected. He knows all the relations, everything that can be done harmfully. Very, very important thing. Enterprise-grade security. It is overall kind of that we have LLM layer, then we have role-based access layer, and we have Postgres storage that keeps all the accesses, all the GRT tokens and everything. Like it all split into companies. Company can have multiple projects. Company have company-wide agents or project scoped or user scoped agent, the same as for knowledge and expertise within the company. Yeah, another kind of useful thing is that any issue that appear or any bug that is logged, it is very easy to fix for the agents because they know all the relations, they know everything, what was built, why was built, and who built that. And that's why fixing some issue, even the complex one, takes seconds. And it is totally automatable. I didn't get yet there, but it can be built into the pipeline and fix that without the user intervention. This is kind of deep research. This is something I'm using really heavily on different questions because I give Arthur kind of task that I need to research some part of, I don't know, some industry or anything. Then Arthur have a predefined workflow that called deep research. He started researcher kind of first run finds all the topics related to what I asked, and then depend on the topic number. It all started in parallel. Different researchers are diving deep into each of the topic, and then it comes back to the whole synthesis of one document, and also you have access to all the separate documents. And it takes, I don't know, when the very big topic, it can take up to 10 minutes. But you have like, the whole internet kind of grabbed through, and you have really sufficient info. For the business impact,
I'm really sorry, we are run out of time, but I propose, guys, if you're interested in watching the demo of Yaroslav, will show it, and we will not stop. The session will be recorded also, so you will join afterwards, no problem. If you have any questions, please put to chat. We will answer them in chat as well. But who is interested, you can stay and join the next event a bit later. So let's continue. Thank you.
I'm sorry, just 2 slides remained here. So
no problem. Yeah. Let's continue. And you probably plan to show the demo, right?
So yeah. I have few things I can show. Yeah.
Yeah. So we will not hurry up. Let's just continue.
Okay. Thank you. So the business impact, I'm not saying the business overall because this is only my personal impression so far, and and some of my friends, right? It is not yet available anywhere, and I plan to open source all of the system, but it is not yet there because I always see that something can be improved, something can be done better. And yeah, the main thing is like you have the full audit of what you were building with AI, and it is completely searchable. So you can always kind of ask what we were doing like two weeks ago, and it will find you, and it will find you in details. Cycle time reduction, that's definitely right, because when you started working with AI really heavily and with all this agentic stuff, you cannot really always track what is done in what window and so on. Me personally, I'm almost all the time working at least in 6 terminals, right? Is the different ideas, different things. And for me, if I would switch all the time from window to window, it will take a lot of time. But having that almost, let's say, autonomous kind of reduce a lot of waste of time. Compounding intelligence, kind of each development cycle, I mean, your system becomes smarter because you have more info, you have more details, you resolve some issues and so on, and that all is kept within your storage, and you never lose it. So if you'll start another project, you can transfer this expertise data to another project and start working with project, very easily. Cost and efficiency, it is something I'm really struggling with right now. It was not efficient at all on the starters. It was kind of it was precise, but it kind of was filling in the context window real quick because of a lot of data. And now seems like I resolved this problem, and now it is much more efficient than I won't say any other system, but probably as the majority of the systems. And this AI native paradigm shift, this is very important thing if you are working with LLMs, with the tools, agentic tools, and so on. You need to think on how you are working with AI, because the way we are used to, and we have a lot of experience working in the big enterprise. If you're saying about the PAM, right? It is really hard to switch your mind and to trust AI more. And if AI is writing like not the best code in the world, does not means that the AI is not doing its job. Just try to look for the end result, not for the intermediate part. Because for AI, with all that kind of knowledge that it has from different GitHub repos and so on and so forth, if AI builds the code in this way, it means it knows how to build it. And if you will add a lot of customizations, a lot of your way of thinking there, it would be much harder for AI to support this code in the long run. So yeah, we need to start being more stakeholders than the owners of the whole development cycle. Let AI handle that, and believe me, it works very well with that. Yeah, that was it from the presentation standpoint. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, please, I'm ready to answer them.
Yeah, we have some questions. Do you want to answer them now or after the demo?
Yeah, I can answer now, just real quick, and then we can back.
First of all, we have a very serious question. Is Arthur already started negotiations about salary and work-life balance?
He's not in that position, he can ask for the salary. This is a bit different way of me working with the Arthur.
The next one is probably the most popular. What does this platform do? Do you have examples of successful use cases? And is it storing context? Is it agent orchestrator, or what is it? If it's possible, be short.
Yeah, I will
answering.
Show. Yep. I can show it because it's quite hard to answer, I would say. And let me just switch the screen. Oh my God, stop sharing. Now I'll open another screen. Window. I'm almost there. Please hold on. Yeah, I will show. So here is web UI of the Legion, actually. And the question was like how the context is stored. Context is mainly stored through the engagements. So everything I'm talking with the Arthur, everything is recorded not only by Arthur, but by every agent that is doing some work. And for instance, let me open any engagement open source stream. Let it be here. And you see like all the agents are putting their kind of notes, requirements, plans, insights, and so on. That's all based on their kind of current task, right? Because if this is a plan, most probably that was either Arthur set someone a task, or the plan is mostly used by the architect. But I see that this is a task. This is decision that was made by architect. So yeah, all the knowledge is shared through the
this UI and everything you show, it's Legion, and it was created by Legion itself, right?
Yes, exactly. It was created actually in 2 days. The whole this application.
That's impressive. Thank you.
It was a really fun story because I was not interrupting the AI. I was not saying like, you're doing bad things. I would do it better. I just left it for the 2 days and here we are, right? And yeah, and all of that keeps tracking of each engagement we are working on. Some engagements has sub engagements. This is as I have shown, like this is engagement is epic. Here we have stories, and stories could have one more this level like episode. And each of this engagement has its own track of record. What was done, how was done, why was done, and so on. And it is all searchable by the AI. And if, for example, but I'm just sharing one screen. Let me stop sharing. I will share the whole screen, but guys, it is quite wide, and you will need to zoom in. Or you still want me to to show the only one window? Because I
As
can
you
share.
wish, as it's more convenient for you. I guess
Okay,
it's not a problem to
I'll
share it.
share. I'll share the whole screen if you don't mind, because it will be easier. So yeah, we have kind of Legion company, Legion project. Let me open the CLI. Let me open a new one. Just 1 second. Oh, make the font larger. Open Legion. Now I need to select the project I will be working with. Let it be this one. And let me ask, hey Arthur, could you show me last engagements we were working on? Let's wait for a second. It's reading. And he shows like what we were working, right? And basically we can dive into any of them. And if I close the session here, I will open it on another laptop or anywhere else, and I will see the same data, right? So basically, the system prompt makes all the agents store their progress in the engagement directly, or they have a memory system, so they can store it in memory. Then they can recall what they stored, and the memory itself has the TTL, so it will be kind of archived after as many days as Arthur will decide this knowledge is needed, right? And there is much more beyond of this, just these engagements, because there are a lot more data. And let me ask, Arthur, could you show me like what expertise do we have around React 19? And expertise can be read as a full file, or it can be searched in the vector and graph DB, in the knowledge graph. And I'll get back to it real quick, to the knowledge graph itself. And yeah, we have what I know. We have 0 expertise. My God, on the React 9. Do we have any expertise on React? Maybe React 19 was something nobody was looking for. And maybe React will be this. Oh, the user is asking about React expertise broadly, and we have some stuff already researched and stored. And this is something like the expertise is something that can be linked directly to the agent, and it will be like a first priority where the agent will search and look for. And it can be not linked to anyone, and it can be company broad, and any agent can search through the company knowledge and find what agent wants. If it doesn't find it, then it asks Adelana, because the researcher is called Adelana, and Adelana will go through the internet and find all the recent best practices and everything else related to the topic, and will link to the agent that was asking for that. Yeah, from this standpoint, I don't know like if I have any more to show, because I believe I'm not really prepared to show you like how it works with the code or anything else, because it will take a while. But I can still show you a few interesting things. So you can see like here I have running Docker containers, and this is all the Legion infrastructure. I know this is very heavy, and there are a lot of services, and some of them will be reduced because of this new code extraction pipeline. And this is actually the results of working code extraction pipeline. This is entity extraction service that does it with the LLM. So from one chunk of the code, it extracts all the entities it has and builds a knowledge graph. And knowledge graph I will show you just in a moment. This is storage level for Neo4j. This is for Quadrant. This is summarization service that also summarizes files in general in chunks. And embeddings, service that embeds everything before storing to the vector DB. It is quite efficient again because each of the services has this vertical scalability, so you can add more threads if your LLM provider allows you to, and you have enough rate limit to work with that, so it can be scaled vertically or it can be scaled horizontally with the Docker containers, and it is like limitless, I would say. It only based on your finances and your rate limits, but it can do stuff like very, very, very quick. For my rate limits, it was again 1,500 files. It was for React project, and it was finished in 15 minutes. Like the pipeline that I had before, it probably took it 2.5 hours or 3 hours to do the same stuff. But this one is much more convenient. And regarding the knowledge graph, let me go here directly into the database. Let me refresh it. Just a second, I will zoom in. So, sorry, let me do like that. Expand. So as you can see here, it extracts nodes of different types. So this all about the code. This is nothing else here beyond the code. We have this text summaries for the code. We have node set, we have projects, and so on and so forth. Let me see. I don't see anything. What's it? Ah, my God, I scrolled it too much. And this is how the graph looks like. So you have different types of entities. I need to zoom out because I don't see the controls. And just 1 second, I will get back to it. Oh man, what happened? Oh, yeah, here we go. So let me open it for the full screen. Yeah, we have different node types. This node type is entity type exactly. And let me scroll a little bit. So hard to do this touchpad. So, and as you can see here, this is again a web UI project based on React, and or maybe no, this is Ruby on Rails backend project. I'm sorry. And you can see here, for example, we have entity type controller. And probably in the project, there are a lot of controllers, and you can see here some of them. This is user settings controller. This is locations controller, but let me expand how many controllers are there. And you can see how many actually controllers we have. Quite a lot. Each of the controllers has also his relations. So this controller is X reports. This is not a good one example. Appointments. Let me expand this one. And you see that this controller have other relations. First to the parent chunk, then it has a relation to the service, because controller service controller service pattern, I believe it's called like that, because controller do not keep any logic. All the logic is kept in the service. Controller just is in proxy to the service. So it has relation to the service, and the relations are different, right? So as a chunk, this service is related as a contains, because chunk contains this service. But service itself is made from the chunk. And this is the beauty of the GraphDB, that you can have different relations to different parts. And it is really easy for AI to navigate through this graph. Basically, it doesn't matter how complex this graph is, and it can be really large, and this one even is quite large. But you need to expand it, and you will see that everything is kind of related, connected, and so on. And you can keep here separate the several projects. You can keep here projects and the documentations for this project, and your AI just will become smarter and smarter because of that. And yeah, and actually as I shown in the presentation, the blast radius or impact analysis, right? If you have, let's say, 5, 10, 15 different repositories, if it is microservices, and you want to understand like what is the impact when you're changing something, it will take a while. But here it will take just a milliseconds to understand all the relations the file you are working with has to through all the system. And yeah, this is actually the main idea of this knowledge graph, that everything is related, and you can always find not you, but actually LLM, because but if you want, you can also search, but for me, I am too lazy to do anything myself. So yeah, I search everything for me. And yeah, it is useful thing. This is Cogni. Actually, I will share the link. Very great library. It saves a lot of time. It has a great approach for all this knowledge graph building. But as I said, it is only one problem. This is performance. But again, probably in their paid version, they do not have these issues. But it is a good example of how the data can be managed, how the data can be connected, and how to build something smarter than just simple RAG. And build graph RAG. It has a lot of stars on GitHub, so it is a proven library. I really encourage you to look into it. Yeah, that's probably it from my side. I guess I can just give you a glance of how the V2 region will look like. This already desktop application, and it will have most of the web UI integrated here. So all the engagements will be shown here, all the delegations will be shown here, ability to work with different repositories at the same time, with the different work trees, workspaces, and so on. And I discovered that really yesterday. I was wandering through the all open code kind of packages, and I just thought, why didn't I ever try to build the UI application? I built it, and now I have more job to do. So yeah, that's probably it. Thanks a lot for your patience.
Thanks a lot to you, Yaroslav, for such a great tool, such a great presentation. Many people noted that not only your demo was great, but also the presentation itself was really great. And probably the next event we will need to dedicate and ask you to share how to create such a beautiful presentations.
Speaking frankly, it took like an hour maximum, and I was not I was thinking how to structure the data itself, the content, and it could generate it in 7 minutes.
Yeah, that's really impressive. So for sure we need your experience here as well. Thanks everyone. We have some more questions, but unfortunately we don't have any time. We need to switch to another calls and events. So thanks a lot. We will answer all the questions and enjoy the rest of the conference. Thanks to all, and Yaroslav especially.
Thank you, guys.
Have a nice
Have
day.
a great one. Bye-bye.
Bye.